So stress occurs in the ego. So we know that stress is a choice, and the choice you made is related to a story that you're telling that stinks, and you need to pick a different story. That's what we talked about before, right? So this week, we're kind of adding to that and talking about how stress occurs in your ego. So if you're feeling stress, you know that you're operating from a place of ego. Okay, so what the heck does that mean, right? Ego is where you think about and worry about your safety in the world. Am I safe? And how other people perceive you. Your ego's job is to worry about those things. You need those things. Those things are important. You do need to worry about them. You need to make sure that you don't go jump off a cliff because it would look fun to float down into the air and fly, right? Because there's a kersplat at the bottom. Your ego will be like, wow, that doesn't seem safe. Okay. Your ego needs to worry about how you're fitting in with everyone. Think back to like when we were in tribes, right? Like if you weren't getting along with your tribe, if they kicked you out, you're in trouble, man. That's a death sentence, right? So you really need to be connected. You need that. That's important. And human beings, it's essential for us. Even now that we don't live in tribes and we have like Wi-Fi and stuff, right? Even now we need to be connected with each other. The reason that people go off the rails and hurt each other is because they're feeling a lack of love or disconnection from everyone else. Makes sense? Okay, so we know that your ego is doing an important job. So you can't be like hating on your ego. The problem is that we really celebrate the ego. We talk about the ego. We compare ourselves to each other only in ego. We get really stuck there. A lot of importance is placed on ego. Most TV shows and movies that you watch are people working stuff out in their ego. There's not a lot of lessons and focus placed on intuition and shifting out of ego. Ego is important, but you can't live your whole life from there because you live a fear-based life. And stress is a form of fear, okay? Let me say that again. Stress is a form of fear. So if you're feeling stressed, the first thing that you got to do is know you are operating too much in your ego. Your ego is ruling what you're doing. And your ego shouldn't do that. Your ego should be an advisor, okay? Your intuition, your soul, your heart, that should be leading you. The way you feel should be leading you and helping you make decisions. Your intuition should be, the thing that you're going, this is what I want to do. And then you should consult with your ego. Take that in, what your ego is telling you for consideration. Notice what you're really afraid of. Notice who you're the most afraid of fitting in with and being accepted by. Notice what are you trying to make up for from being a kid, right? All of that stuff is important. But you can't let your life be ruled by your ego. You have to really shift into intuition and be there and just let ego be your advisor. Does that make sense? I hope that really sinks in for you. So, step one, you're feeling stressed. Okay, I am operating in ego. What am I afraid of? Okay, so I'll use myself as an example. When I tend to get stressed, I know that the fear happening, the reason I'm operating in ego is because I'm afraid I'm not going to have enough time to get everything done that I want to. So then you take that fear and you go a step further and you say, what does that mean about me? What do I think that means about me if I don't get all of this stuff done? What am I perceiving as happening if I don't get this huge list of things I've given myself to do done? Okay. Is it like a horrible, slow, painful, tortured death? Probably not. I'm probably afraid of letting someone down or not meeting some crazy goal or expectation I've put for myself, or that I'm just not feeling powerful. Like I don't trust in myself to get it done. So you have to like follow and you have to see, what am I really afraid of here? The answer always boils down to other people looking at you and either feeling disappointed or like you're not good enough or like you're not worthy. Like that's usually 99.9% of the time, that's what we're fearing when you keep boiling it down. So you want to go look at that because then you can step into your intuitive self and you can address that issue. Just addressing your stress is going to help temporarily, okay? It's like slapping a Band-Aid on this giant open wound that needs stitches, okay? Is kind of what we do as a society. everywhere. It's because we're very ego-based. What's the solution right now? What's the surface thing that I can do to address this? We take all kinds of medication to treat symptoms, right? But we never really go in, or very rarely go in, to find out what actually caused the imbalance or dis-ease, right, in our body to begin with. That's all very ego-based culture. You with me? So when you shift out of that, you come into a much more holistic state of mind, and you think, what's the root cause of this problem? And to find that out, you have to step into intuition, and you have to address it there. If I try to address my issues based in ego, I'm going to just build up a big giant wall around myself, and I'm going to blame outside of myself. I'm going to be the victim of everything. You know those people, right? They, trip and fall, and there was nothing to even trip and fall on, and they blame the person who, made the sidewalk. And it's like, well, why don't you look? I think that was your fault, right? Like, you have to be able to take responsibility, and that only occurs in your intuitive soul, in yourself, away from ego. When you're standing in ego, you're going to blame, because your ego doesn't like anything to be your fault, because it hates evidence that you're not perfect. Okay? So you want to step out of that and address the core issue. And then once you see what that is, you want to ask yourself, why am I feeling that? You'll start to notice that when you're stressed, you keep boiling it down to basically the same issue. It's basically a lack of belief in yourself somewhere. So when you can see what that is, and you can see what's triggering that, you can build that up in yourself. Now you have a way to solve the fact that you are getting stressed at all. Now, you do need to treat stress in the moment. I'm not saying when you're a big stress ball to try to boil it down then. That's not going to work. You need to have some solutions like meditation, or going for a walk, or taking a break, or making a list and having a system. Because then when you're in stress, you'll know what to do. But afterwards, when you've calmed down, you can stop and you can look, and you can step into the ego, out of the ego, and into the heart-based place. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Thank you. My husband is delivering me some drinks. Just leave those right there. I'll take care of them. Thank you so very much. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. Got my hot water and eucalyptus happening here. So let me know if you have questions. What do we got? I know some of you are commenting. What do you think about this? Okay. How can you step in and take control and step yourself out of ego? Now, I love the idea of meditating more, which is one of the reasons I challenge you to do that, because it will really help you to see when your ego mind is driving you. Okay. So most people are driven by their ego mind all the time. Okay. So you have to say, let me step out of this and just have this be a part of who I am, and not the thing that drives me everywhere. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I think this is too hot. Hold on. I don't want to burn my face on camera. It's good. He did a good job. Okay. Let's see. Hello. Lots of highs. Hey, Michelle Duffy, she says, green's my color. Thanks, girl. What a good hubby, Melissa said, right? Hey, Stacy, he's a very good hubby. I'm very, very lucky and incredibly spoiled. Yeah, I'm really, really lucky. He brought my oils up to put in too. Fantastic. All right, so let me know what you think about ego and stress and it happening there. Notice, think to yourself, I'll help you walk through it if you want. What is making you stressed? What is triggering stress in you? What is that? What's going on? Is it work? Is it home? Is it your kids? Is it your husband? What is it? Because there's something behind that. Now, listen, I'm not saying that, the fact that your kid asked you 45 times where they left their shoes and you're like, oh my God, you can't be in charge of your own shoes, that's not going to stress you out. That's not what I'm talking about. That's more like frustration, right? I'm talking about that big bad stress that creeps up and then you start walking around like this and you forget being grounded, right? It's not just because I want you to be more peaceful. I do want that for you. But you guys, stress is killing us. Stress is making everybody so sick, all right? Stress is hurting us all, and empaths are more sensitive to it. It wreaks more havoc on us. So we have to be really vigilant about not living these stressful lifestyles. I said to you guys before, I don't like that it's like some competition lately, especially among women. Like, who's the busiest and most stressed? It's like, who cares? Like, why is that a prize? Shouldn't you want to be a prize for like being the least stressed? Maybe it's a very bizarre thing. Hey, Patricia, nice to see you. So let me know your thoughts. I want to know what you think. I'm going to sip my really hot water here. Hold on. That's good stuff. Okay. So let me know what you think. I think this time of year, it's really easy to get into stress because you have more on your plate. But if you feel like when more is added to your plate, when you feel like that's going to just upset the whole apple cart and everything's going to fall over, then you don't have good systems in place, which means you don't feel good about creating systems because you don't think that you can actually meet the goals you have for yourself and you can actually follow through with what you want. And that, my friends, boils down to not believing you're capable. All right. Do you see how we do that? Do you see how we walk in that direction? You see how we get there? I hope